Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the continuation of the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. The series continues on the 16th of October, 1982. Dallas Cowboys player Harvey Martin is out. He is former teammate of the announcer Jay Sully, and then he endorses the promotion. This is the proper way to use celebrities in pro wrestling. Quick cameos, 30 seconds, and get them out of there. This whole Pat McCaffrey thing is just ridiculous. This is the right way to do it. Anyway, we move on to the first match of the program, that being a match between Captain Frank Dusek and David Von Erich. David, of course, your Texas champion, heavyweight champion. David is out, endorsing being back in the promotion and really being ready to take on all comers. He's out with a promo, and he actually, believe it or not, steps over the top rope to enter the ring. Just kind of an interesting note there. We notice that Dusek tries to get right after him. We use every dirty tactic in the book, and David fights well from underneath, but a very basic match. Not really anything to write home about. More of a brawling style, so if that's your thing, might be worth checking out. The one thing I will say, David and Kerry certainly rivals for the affections of the fans. More masculine male thoughts towards David. Kerry and Kevin more the female fans' favorites. I don't know necessarily why that is. It's just by reaction that I've come to that conclusion. But this is 1982, and that's what's going on in Texas. And the match only goes about 5 minutes or so. Inside cradle for David to get the victory, and he shocks Dusek quite a bit. Dusek is very surprised that he is handled in quick fashion. We move on to a tag team affair. Jose Lothario and Alberto Madril versus Magic Dragon and Checkmate. Two members of H&H Limited. The Dragon back to the black mask, and Madril and Dragon seem to start off. Madril obviously a bit more of a brawler. Dragon with the karate and the high-flying maneuvers. It's interesting that World Class seems to be into the martial arts even before the heavy parts of the Karate Kid franchise and later the Ninja Turtles of the 90s. But it's interesting that they seem to be playing towards the kids with the even though they're heels, the mystical, magical characters, your Kabuki and your Magic Dragon and your Checkmate, and that just seem to be a little different. Jose Lothario in for a bit, although he's a little bit obviously slower of the bunch and doesn't do as much in the ring. The heels cut off the ring on Madril for a bit. Dragon taking the lion's share of the offense for his team during the middle section. Lothario does get a hot tag, comes back in with a very punch kick based offense. There's a spot where the Checkmate goes up and over on a backdrop and then does the armadillo spot, faking out Jose Lothario. Much to the chagrin of the fans, Checkmate slows the match down with a reverse chin lock to his advantage, and Madril on the outside waiting not so patiently for the change of the match. Lothario comes in via the top rope with a stomp, which kind of caught me off guard. And then Madril and Lothario tend to work together for a while. Another cut off on Madril in the latter part of the match. Match drags a little bit. It almost feels like they could have used a third match here or a fourth match. In other words, another match on the card to spice things up. But they give these guys a real good bit of time. The checkmate goes to the outside, which doesn't bode well for him. He takes on some interesting challenges from Madrill. Madrill brings him back into the ring, and as he steps back through, has the advantage still. One thing I will say is that the armadillo spot that checkmate does always is a momentum shifter. Madrill spends a little too much time trying to get the mask off of checkmate, which bungles things up for him. Magic Dragon back in with Jose Lothario. Lothario cuts the ring off for Madrill again. And the flying forearm clothesline-ish tackle by Madrill gets a 2 count. That is a surprise because usually that's a finish for him. He comes over with a sunset flip, and the bell rings signaling a time limit draw. So they go all the way through in that one. Then we go to a promo with the World Heavyweight Champion and the bounty on Kerry Von Erich. Flair says that he is not above putting a bounty down, but has not done nearly what they think that he has. He is willing to do whatever it takes to hold on to the championship. He will, in fact, be able to hold on to that championship for quite a while, and he will be champion long after Kerry's injury. Of course, Kerry injured at the hands of the great Kabuki, and many people say that Flair's responsible for that. We'll see that play out over the next several weeks, but Ric Flair here is phenomenal. Typical Ric Flair promo, but a little more subdued in a sit-down environment. He basically says that he is all over the country. No one can do what he's doing, and he is ready for Kerry whenever that presents itself. He wants to get it Fritz when he can, wants to get it Kerry when he can, but he is in demand everywhere around the world, and that continues to play out. We then move to Grand Marcus 2, number 2, another masked guy. A lot of masked fellows here in the Texas area these days versus the Samoan. Samoan we've seen a few times having a bit of an advantage and some really good experiences. He may get his first victory here. Samoan obviously doing a lot more of a strike-based offense. Good headbutts when he can get them. That sort of thing. Grand Marcus looks to be a stout and stocky gentleman in white trunks and a white mask and white boots. Don't know how long he's here, but I don't see. You see him intermittently through the remainder of 82. We're not into 83 yet, so can't speak to him being here, but he'll cheat and hold on to arm bars and pull hair and do all those typical heelish things that make a bad guy in 1982, and the Samoan kind of hangs with him here, slows the match down, and it's just amazing to me that people will cheer a guy out of a headlock in 1982. You'd never see that now, obviously, but there was a time that was a big deal. Samoan with a drop kick after a cartwheel that brings the crowd to its feet appropriately, and we then see Grand Mark walking away with H&H after a victory, gains the victory after, let's see here, he is using some underhanded tactics. What's interesting is as he gets back to his feet, you almost don't think the match is close to ending, but closer than we think. Grand Mark comes off with a vicious lariat And a clothesline, yes, a clothesline is the beginning of the end, as we see a body slam followed by almost a senton like maneuver. 1, 2, 3 is your victory for Grand Mark 2. And then we move on to what is a major debut, although we don't know it at the time. Roberto Renslow versus Michael P.S. Hayes. Yes, the Freebirds are beginning to be in town. We open with Michael. Michael is a baby face here in Texas to begin in October of 1982. Of course, historically, anyone who knows their stuff knows that doesn't last terribly long, but it lasts long enough that Michael Hayes lets us know that PS stands for Purely Sexy. He lets us know that he is here and his brother will soon be here. Of course, his brother, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, who many people consider to be one of the best big men of his time, maybe all time, depending on who you ask. But Michael, who lots of people say is a better talker than he is a wrestler. I don't know about that. I tend to think that he as a babyface wasn't half bad. I don't necessarily know that he was the greatest heel. He was kind of a chicken heel. But we see a bulldog from Michael, and the bulldog gives him an advantage that ultimately leads to him picking the man back up and hitting what is a very lethal move in the pile driver. So Michael Hayes with a very decisive victory to open himself up. He, once again, as mentioned, grabs the mic, lets us know that he wants Bundy and his partner Wild Bill Irwin. He wants to encourage everyone to support the Freebirds. Lets us know the Freebirds are from Bad Street, among other things. And this does not please Wild Bill Irwin. Irwin openly accepts the challenge on behalf of himself and Bundy. And sooner or later, we're going to get the Freebirds against Bundy and Irwin. That's coming soon. But Michael P.S. Hayes, the debut in World Class. If you've never seen it before, even though it's just a squash match, might be historically worth going out of your way to see. I'll be back with more World Class action momentarily, but until then, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.